Okay, we're back here with Root Causes, and we are very pleased once again to have a repeat guest, Bas Westerbaan of Cloudflare. Bas, welcome back.
Great to be here.
We have a series. We're doing a series where we're discussing Merkle Tree Certificates and PQC and related topics and getting the current state of the art with that. And one of the interesting conversations we were having offline before this was, what does this mean? So we talked a lot in a previous episode about what is MTC? How does it work technically? What are the benefits? If I'm a subscriber and I'm using these certificates, what does it mean to me? What do I have to do?
Very little, actually. So the thing you need to do, if you do best practices, you basically got it already. So you want to keep your TLS libraries up to date. Mm-hmm. And you want to use certificate automation. And then you'll get it for free.
So, Bas, it's Merkle Tree Certificates. When I look at the spec that's going to RFC, right, at IETF, what my understanding when I look at it is Merkle Tree Certificates now really don't exist as a concept without certificate lifecycle management. And so therefore, if you're using some sort of certificate lifecycle management, I love what you just said. You the work is done for you. And so that to me is what I really want to hear from you in terms of, that's a big change. You used to be able to just get a cert, download it, use it as a standalone thing. But now the fact that issuance and CT log is the same thing with MTC means you can't really not manage it in a way, right?
You could do it manually. It's painful, right? I mean, So first is these are shorter lived. I mean, this is where things are going. They will be at 40 days or less, probably, right? The whole landmark thing. Suppose you have a website. You first download the MTC you get, and then you have to wait an hour before you can get the landmark relative one, the small one. That's 2 steps. That's super annoying to do, right? You want this to be automated. Merkle Tree Certificates has been designed very much as a machines are provisioning the certificates for you. Yeah.
That's an important point. So think about that, folks. You know, you really have to, if you haven't heard the previous episode where we had Bas talk about Merkle Tree Certificates, you have to understand that every subscriber, meaning everybody who's running a website, load balancer, etc., is getting not just one cert. They're probably getting up to 3. There's the landmark certificate, there's the standalone certificate, and there's probably going to be a classic certificate as well.
I mean, for sure, right? Are you going to cut off all classical clients?
No, it doesn't make sense. We're probably going to have them a long time.
If you control your entire environment, you can get rid of that classic. You should. Sure. But if you don't, you'll probably have it forever. Yeah.
But if you just hear what you just said, Bas, and again, I have to repeat it because it's such an important point. There's one classification of certs that you have to get first, which is essentially coming off of the batch of a Merkle tree. And then there's another type of certificate, which is the lighter weight version of it, in order to be able to take advantage of the whole point of Merkle Tree Certificates. And doing all of this manually, I mean, it's difficult enough to install a classical cert today, never mind manual Merkle Tree Certificates really isn't, it's not an option anybody would take.
No, it's not a great experience. No. And I think this is a problem if, so Merkle Tree Certificates, that's for the web, for private PKIs, this is also an episode. When does Merkle Tree Certificates make sense for private PKIs? Very interesting
right.
to have.
Sometimes
it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. And actually, we're exploring all these cases. But even if you don't, you for a PKI that isn't MTC, you still need to install 2 certificates, right? You have a post-quantum certificate and you have a classical certificate. If you have a system of any reasonable size where you have a mix of clients, so you need to you have double the load in issuing certificates anyway, and dealing with them. Yeah.
And also, like, we're having this conversation about how this whole environment really requires automation. let's not forget that there are other changes in the ecosystem, which basically involve the maximum term of a certificate. In the web PKI, it's mandated. In your own PKI, it isn't, but it's a good idea, that really render non-automated certificates essentially impractical anyway, except for maybe a few very, very weird edge cases. So it feels like this is something that we were going to have to deal with, even if Shor's algorithm weren't a thing. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's, I mean, you have in private PKIs, I mean, you have cases where you literally can't access something. But I mean, that's not your typical PKI, right? I mean, everyone's PKI is special, but...
Yeah. So I guess, you kind of quickly hit the first point, which is that, you need to keep, as a subscriber, your servers need to be current, right? You need to have... When are we expecting that? Like, I couldn't do that today. I can't get my off-the-shelf server that I'm buying from a major vendor. I won't pick on anybody by saying names, but we all know who they are. I can't buy that because that support isn't in there. When are we getting that, do you think?
Oh, support for Merkle Tree Certificates, installing them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
right. Like, I'm an IT practitioner today, and I say, boy, these root causes guys, they're pretty smart fellas. I'm going to go do this. I can't do this today because I can't get supporting equipment. So when do you think that comes?
Well, it's a tough question, right? And also right. we are talking to our vendors. So, some actually are pretty far. Some vendors they're doing well. Others not so much. So it's what you gonna do? We will need to have vendors, these servers, whether it's Merkle Tree certificates or not, they need to create these signatures anyway. They need to support MLDSA. So they need to do something, right? But on the other hand, for the basic support for MTC, the standalone certificates, it's just an X509 blob. It's just X509 certificate. Maybe the software is ossified, right, where it tries to check things it shouldn't check and it breaks. That might be the case with some servers now. Let's hope.
Do we even know, right? Do we even know?
That's something we have to, I mean, we will only know when trying. Probably there's plenty that choke on something that's unknown, that's new. But many of them will just work, where you can just plop in a standalone MTC. But to get the performance advantage, you do need the thing to be able to install 2 certificates, which also probably a lot of servers even can't do, right? I mean, how many servers can install an RSA and ECC certificate at the same time? Right. But we need that any for PQ, that they need to add, and they need to not choke on something they don't recognize, right? They just need to serve it. But many of them do software, so many of them actually do work.
Okay, good.
When I'm thinking of pragmatic use of these certs, Bas, I think of the entire web PKI world. I'm thinking about, of course, the web servers themselves, Apache Nginx, IIS, etc. I'm also thinking about my load balancers and how they get certificates, because that's another big consumer. I'm also thinking about open protocols such as Acme. There's a big world out there. There's the places I have to put my certs. There's the technologies to get the cert from the CA to the thing. And there's all that good stuff. And all of it needs work, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it's all being done. So Acme, they basically are discussing now ways of, I mean, there's a few ways to cut it with alternative cert, or you can actually refresh the certificate. There's actually one fun way with so the landmark relative certificate. If you have a standalone certificate, it starts just rooted at some root, right? But after an hour, you can regraft it, right? You can just use a different authentication path, which is actually to a landmark. So one standalone certificate, the server can just chop off the signatures, and it becomes a landmark certificate. So this is like a bit of a fun little way to reduce 2 to 1. But probably you want to have 2 landmark relative certificates anyway, because then you have a longer time that they're valid, right? Then you that works better. But there are tricks you can do to actually do this. But yeah, it's lots of things, and people are working on it now.
how long do you think, this is a question you might not be able to answer, but I have to ask. Tim asked this in the previous episode, and I'm going to ask it again. How long until this whole web PKI ecosystem is in place for the full vision of MTC?
So Chrome set quite an ambitious deadline. They want to have their first MTC's proper certificates shipping in Chrome in 2027.
Yes, they do.
We very much are targeting to have MTCs, at least with Cloudflare, provisioned also in 2027. So we could see a lot of MTC in 2027.
That's coming real fast, Tim, when I look at the calendar.
That's coming super, super fast. Absolutely.
This is great. You know what? So that's it. That's what this episode was about. We wanted to talk to Bas about what the real world, pragmatic, vision of what's it like to actually consume these certs. And it's certainly a lot different than before. But on the other hand, you're going to have to lean on automation for any of this, because I'm even having a hard time wrapping my whole head around how is this all going to shake out. You're talking about large standalone certificates that might even be hacked up in order to be able to make landmarks, and oh my God, like those are things that I hadn't even thought about till this episode, Bas. And what it means is if a guy like me, if a guy like Tim, we're nearing 30 years into this stuff, and I'm just shaking my head. It means that the software itself, the automation, certificate lifecycle management is now inherent, and that is really the main message of this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And I mean, generally in the whole PQ migration, if you want to be PQ and you're not even supporting TLS 1.3, what you can do now is just do the best practice and get up to date, at least get to 1.3, automate the certificate issuance as much as we can, update those TLS libraries. And if you have something from 2021 still somewhere, usually that's also a pain to upgrade it if you didn't do it that long. Now is the time to do it, even if they don't support PQ yet. Although a lot of TLS libraries do now. So best practices get you actually a long way.
Best practices. I love it. Let's leave that there for now. And Bas, I'm sure we'll see you again soon.